This is a recap of reflexive verbs. Возвратные глаголы. Она моет посуду. Он моется. Библиотека открывается в 8 часов. А кто открывает библиотеку в 8 часов? Разве это важно? Наверное, библиотекарь открывает библиотеку в 8 часов. Лекция начинается в половине четвертого. А кто начинает лекцию? Профессор, конечно. Осторожно, двери закрываются. Кто закрывает двери? Никто, они сами закрываются. А сейчас эта женщина открывает дверь. Remember, our reflexive verbs are, like for example, учиться, заниматься. The verbs act exactly the way other verbs do, except for that after a consonant you'll add ся, and after a vowel you'll add s. What are our uses of reflexive verbs? They can be reciprocal action, like «Я встречу его завтра в аэропорту», I will meet him tomorrow in the airport, versus «Они встречаются каждый день», they meet each other every day. In this instance, the reflexive verb is the one where people meet each other. Reflexive verbs can also be actions done on yourself. So, она моет посуду, she washes the dishes, versus она моется, she washes herself. Or reflexive verbs can be passive action, where we don't have a focus on the agent. We don't have a focus on who's doing the action. We're focusing more on the action itself. So, for example, менеджер открывает магазин. The manager opens the store. But we can have a different focus in the second example, which is similar. Магазин открывается в 10 часов. The store opens at 10 o'clock. We're not really focused on who's actually doing the action of opening the store. It's more just the action itself. It's a passive action. Some verbs that are commonly in both the reflexive and non-reflexive are открывать, открыть, закрывать, закрыть. So sometimes we talk about who opens or closes something, and sometimes we just talk about when something is opened or is closed. Similarly, начинать, начинаться, начать, начаться, заканчивать, заканчиваться, закончить, закончиться. We can also often talk about when something is begun, when something is ended, and oftentimes we will not focus on who began it or who ended it. Choose the correct ending to the sentence. Библиотека открывается в 8 часов. Since we have открывается, it's reflexive. So we wouldn't focus on the librarian opening it. It just opens itself. Ресторан закрыл менеджер. The manager closed the restaurant. Here we don't have a reflexive verb. So we need a subject. We need a person who did it. В среду начинается выставка. Here, because it's reflexive, we need выставка to be in the nominative case, since it's the subject. The exhibition begins on Wednesday. We're not focusing on who begins it. В 10 часов профессор начинает лекцию. Here, the verb is not reflexive, so we're focusing on the professor opening it. or beginning it. So the professor's the subject, and the lecture has to be the direct object in the accusative case.